Have you ever heard a sound that no one else can? A persistent, low-frequency hum that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere at once? For some residents of Taos, New Mexico, this isn't a hypothetical question. It's a daily reality. This is the story of the Taos Hum, one of the most baffling auditory mysteries of our time. It all started back in the early 1990s. Reports began to surface from a small percentage of the population in and around Taos. They described a maddening, low-pitched sound, a droning hum that was disrupting their lives. They complained of dizziness, sleep disturbances, and intense pressure in their ears. The strangest part? Only about 2% of the local population could hear it. For everyone else, there was only silence. Imagine the frustration. You're hearing this constant, invasive noise, but when you try to explain it to your friends, your family, even your doctor, they look at you like you're imagining things. It's a lonely and isolating experience. The hearers, as they came to be called, were desperate for answers. Was it a secret military experiment? A strange geological phenomenon? Or was it something inside their own heads? The mystery became so widespread that it prompted official investigations. In 1993, a team of researchers from the University of New Mexico, alongside scientists from Los Alamos National Laboratory and other institutions, descended upon Taos. Their mission was to capture and identify this elusive sound. They brought with them highly sensitive sound equipment, ready to finally solve the puzzle. The researchers set up their gear, interviewed the hearers, and conducted extensive tests. They listened, they measured, they analyzed. And what did they find? Well, that's where things get even more interesting. Their sophisticated microphones couldn't detect any single, persistent acoustic signal that could account for the hum. They ruled out common sources of low-frequency noise like industrial machinery, power lines, and gas pipelines. The hum remained an enigma, officially undocumented by their instruments. Despite the lack of acoustic evidence, the investigation did confirm one crucial thing: the experiences of the hearers were real. These weren't people suffering from a collective delusion. Their physical symptoms and the consistency of their descriptions proved that something was genuinely affecting them. The study concluded that different hearers were likely hearing different sounds, some of which could be generated inside their own ears, a condition known as spontaneous autoacoustic emissions. But this didn't fully explain why the phenomenon was so geographically concentrated in Taos. And Taos isn't alone. Similar unexplained hums have been reported all over the world, from Bristol in England to Bondi in Australia. Each location has its own name for the phenomenon, the Bristol hum, the Windsor hum, but the descriptions are remarkably similar. A persistent, low-frequency drone that only a small fraction of the population can perceive. Could they all be connected? Let's dive into some of the theories, from the plausible to the downright strange. One of the leading scientific hypotheses points to VLF, or very low frequency, radio waves. These long wavelength signals are used for military communications, particularly for contacting submerged submarines. The theory goes that some individuals might have a unique sensitivity, allowing their brains or even loose fillings in their teeth to somehow decode these radio waves as sound. It sounds like science fiction, but it's a theory that some researchers take seriously. Another geological theory suggests the hum could be caused by microseisms, tiny imperceptible earth tremors generated by the pounding of ocean waves on continental shelves, sometimes thousands of miles away. The unique geology of the Taos area, situated in the Rio Grande Rift Valley, could potentially amplify these vibrations in a way that makes them audible to a select few. It's an intriguing idea that connects the local mystery to a global, natural process. Then we have the more conventional, yet still unproven explanations. Could it be the combined noise of countless distant industrial sources, traveling vast distances and converging on specific locations like Taos? Think of it as the acoustic equivalent of light pollution, a constant low-level background noise of modern civilization that most of us have tuned out, but a sensitive few can't ignore. Of course, with any great mystery comes a wave of more unconventional theories. Some have suggested the hum is the sound of secret underground tunnels being bored by the government. Others look to the sky, speculating about everything from high-altitude surveillance platforms to extraterrestrial activity. While these ideas are exciting, they lack the verifiable evidence that would move them from speculation to solid theory. So what is it like to actually live with the hum? We've heard from hearers who describe it as a form of torture. Imagine trying to fall asleep with what sounds like a diesel engine idling just outside your window, a sound that never, ever stops. Some have been forced to move away from their homes in search of silence. Others have found coping mechanisms, using white noise machines or fans to mask the hum and provide some measure of relief. The psychological toll is immense, living with a constant source of irritation that you can't prove to anyone else exists. It highlights how profoundly our sense of hearing is tied to our sense of peace and well-being. Decades after the first reports, the Taos Hum remains fundamentally unexplained. The 1993 investigation was the most comprehensive to date, but it ultimately raised more questions than it answered. No follow-up study of that scale has been conducted since. The hearers of Taos and in hum zones around the world are largely left on their own. The mystery endures, a quiet, persistent reminder that there are still phenomena in our world that lie just beyond the edge of our current scientific understanding. It's a sound that exists in the space between perception and measurement, between personal experience and objective proof. What do you think is causing the Taos Hum? A natural phenomenon we don't understand yet? A byproduct of our own technology? Or something else entirely? The truth is, nobody knows for sure, and perhaps that's what makes it so endlessly fascinating. It's a real-life mystery that challenges our assumptions and reminds us that there's always more to discover and to listen for. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the mystery of the Taos Hum. If you found this as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the unexplained. I'd love to hear your own theories in the comments below.